Donald Trump's meetings with world leaders have gone about as poorly as possible, and today was no exception to that rule, as he was joined by UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who not only called out Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and the Oval Office, but then when they had a little bit of a press conference after, oh boy, did he go in on Donald Trump so much that Trump attacked him and just told him to shut up. It was absolutely crazy. Not only the call out, but how upset Trump was. We're going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into Trump telling Keir Starmer to just shut up about his horrible presidency so far, I think we got to check out Donald Trump being confronted by a reporter, really how it all started.
Let's see here. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier today, you told me that you believe that foreign countries pay tariffs, but Americans who are concerned about higher prices believe, as most people do, that they're paid by consumers and importers when they import things into this country. Can you explain how you came to this belief that foreign governments are paying tariffs? And for the Prime Minister, did you discuss with President Trump his repeated statements of desire to annex Canada? And has the King expressed any concern over the President's apparent desire to remove one of his realms from his control?
So I'll go ahead. The first part, the tariffs are necessary because we've been treated very unfairly by many, many countries, including our friends, friend and foe. But we've been treated very unfairly in trade at levels that nobody's really ever seen before, and especially under the Biden administration, they really took advantage of the United States. I put massive tariffs on China during my 4 years. We had the best economy in the history of our country. Probably the best economy, maybe the best economy in the history of the world. And I used tariffs to even things up. And in particular with China, we took in hundreds of billions of dollars and we had no inflation. And it's a myth. It's a myth that's put out there by foreign countries that really don't like paying tariffs, and especially to even up. So we've been treated badly by a lot. We're using tariffs. And I find, and you just have to look at the numbers, but I find that it's not about inflation. It's about fairness, and the inflation for us has not existed, and I don't think it's going to exist. We're going to bring our car industry back. We're going to bring our chips back. We're going to bring so many things back to our country, including pharmaceuticals and drugs. And the thing that's going to get us there is tariffs. And I say often it's my favorite word in the dictionary, but I always preface that by saying now, because I got into a lot of trouble with the fake news where they say that's not good. So I say God, love, family, wife. They're all my favorite words, but tariff is about number 4 or 5 on the list. But I will tell you, it's going to make our country rich, and it's going to stop us from being a laughingstock all over the world. Because we have been taken advantage of like no.
So already Trump is a little tense. He's a little upset. He's asked about his least favorite topic, not only because it is already wrecking his presidency, the skyrocketing prices, really across all industries, but also because he doesn't care. He's said this multiple times. He doesn't care if people are impacted by his tariffs. He doesn't care if people are impacted by rising prices because of the disastrous start to his presidency. He doesn't care that people are losing their jobs because of Doge. He doesn't care. But he does care when he is being personally critiqued. And that is what happened when Keir Starmer just called out Donald Trump's attacks on one of our other allies in Canada. And yeah, you'll have to check it out.
And for the Prime Minister, did you discuss with President Trump his repeated statements of desire to annex Canada? And has the King expressed any concern over the President's apparent desire to remove one of his realms from his control?
We had a really good discussion, a productive discussion, a good discussion, as a result of which our teams are now going to be working together on an economic deal. Our teams are going to be working together on security in Ukraine. You mentioned Canada. I think you're trying to find a divide between us that doesn't exist. We're the closest of nations, and we had very good discussions today, but we didn't discuss Canada.
Thank you.
Did you catch that there at the end? Trump just said, "That's enough. Stop. Shut up. Be quiet." I don't think he understands, and having these state visits, that world leaders get so much positive press when they come in and just humiliate Donald Trump, right? I don't think that's what Keir's trying to do here. I think obviously he's focused on having stronger relations between our allies, whether it be Canada, whether it, of course, be the UK, whether it be Ukraine, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But it is hilarious that Trump doesn't realize these guys kind of do want to get a couple of jabs in on him, and he is clearly not happy about that. And it got even worse for Donald Trump in this clip right here.
It maybe got a little bit testy because we wanted to have a little bit of what the European nations said. You know, they get their money back by giving money. We don't get the money back. Biden made a deal. He put in $350 billion. And I thought it was a very unfair situation.
We're not getting all of ours. I mean, quite a bit of ours was gifted. It was given. There were some loans, but mainly it was gifted, actually.
Mr. President, the Europeans want Ukraine to be part.
So like I said, the day started out in the Oval Office. Trump got corrected on his we're being suppressed in our free speech talking point, and the UK is suppressing free speech, something he's been trying to push. Him and JD, of course, also got shut down there on Ukraine. It seems like pretty consistent in these state visits. I've said this about Trudeau, but other world leaders seem more like American presidents, or at least they actually care to defend liberal values and our allies. What a shock. What a crazy thing to do. Defend and care about your allies. Trump clearly not happy with any of this, and especially when he got asked another question about tariffs. This was a disaster for him. Just take a look.
Thank you. Mr. President, did our Prime Minister persuade you not to put tariffs on the UK? And if I may, Prime Minister, do you think that Vladimir Putin is a man who will keep his word? Thanks.
He tried. He was working hard, I'll tell you that. He earned whatever the hell they pay him over there. But he tried. I think there's a very good chance that in the case of these two great friendly countries, I think we could very well end up with a real trade deal.
He doesn't care about rising prices. He does not care that people are impacted. It's what he ran on. But shockingly, the pathological liar was lying to you, America. It's the reason why this is the "we told you so" presidency. We knew what was going to happen. How many times did Kamala Harris have to say it? Unfortunately, I guess it wasn't enough for people who refused to wake up to the truth and are now experiencing that shocking reality. And I don't want to say that I don't feel bad for them, but some, I don't know, you voted for it, didn't you? These higher prices. And it's not just coming from Trump's tariffs, it's coming from his attacks on the institutions that protect consumers from getting ripped off. And Elizabeth Warren talked all about that in a clip right here.
So co-presidents Donald Trump and Elon Musk seem hell-bent on trying to kill the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Mr. Musk tweeted CFPB RIP and delete the CFPB. Administration operatives evidently ordered everyone to leave the building and then locked the doors and told people not to do any work anywhere. Now, Mr. McKernan, you've been nominated to run this agency where Elon Musk has told everyone to do nothing. You know, it kind of feels like you've been lined up to be the number one horse at the glue factory. So I just want to start with some basics here. Mr. McKernan, would you agree that running an agency means carrying out the core functions of that agency laid out in law?
Yes, as the director, you are tasked with some very specific statutory responsibilities. Those are mandatory, not optional.
Okay, well, let's talk about what it means then to follow the law. Congress writes the law, the executive branch carries out those laws, and the judicial branch is there to tell them if the administrative branches overstep their authorities. You know, it's kind of basic schoolhouse rock, separation of powers stuff. There are at least 88 specific obligations in the Dodd-Frank Act that the CFPB is legally obligated to perform. Congress doesn't suggest that the CFPB do these things or ask the CFPB to do these things. Congress mandates it. So let's hit some of the highlights. Section 1021 of the Dodd-Frank Act says that the CFPB must, quote, implement and enforce federal consumer financial laws consistently for the purpose of ensuring that all consumers have access to markets for consumer financial products and services, and that markets for consumer financial products and services are fair, transparent, and competitive. Mr. McKernan, if confirmed, will you implement and enforce the law so that everyone has fair access to financial products like credit cards and mortgages?
Yes, Ranking Member, as I said in my opening statement, I'm fully committed to following the law fully and faithfully. That includes performing each of the statutory.
What about Section 1013 of Dodd-Frank, which requires the CFPB to maintain, quote, a single toll-free number, a website, and a database, close quote, to collect consumer complaints about financial products or services, respond, quote, timely to those complaints, and share the consumer complaint data with other federal and state agencies. Mr. McKernan, will you follow the law and maintain the CFPB's consumer complaint hotline so that consumers have somewhere to go when they have a problem with their banks or their mortgage lenders?
Ranking Member, as you point out, both Section 1021C and also Section 1022, or I think it's 1023, both task the CFPB with responsibilities relating to consumers. Those are mandatory. If confirmed, I'll follow the law.
Great. Under Section 1013 of Dodd-Frank, the CFPB must maintain an Office of Service Member Affairs for both veterans and active duty military who get cheated, an Office of Financial Protection for older Americans to provide financial counseling and help seniors recognize the warning signs of financial scams, and a student loan office to assist with borrower complaints.
Donald Trump is not going to help anyone in America who doesn't have $1 billion. And I think that there's probably going to be some point where it's like 10 billion is the number you have to reach. He's just going to care more and more about fewer and fewer people. You got to have money or else he doesn't care. That's pretty much what this is all about. People were worried about prices, and now they're really worried about prices. And we got to drive home that message. We're going to be doing it on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around at the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And we have some exciting news coming soon, so make sure you hit that notification bell. And again, if you want to connect with the show off of YouTube, other places, I've linked my Instagram and my Twitter in the bio. Till next time, I'll see you soon.